Is there life on Mars? Isn't there life on Mars? Is unknown to science. This is not just a successful aphorism from the popular film comedy Carnival Night, which has widely entered our colloquial language and has become a running joke. The main point here is that for a very long time this phrase reflected our actual level of knowledge about the existence of life on the red planet. And only now, in recent years, when the latest scientific observations, research, facts have been collected and processed, all this allows us to say, there was life on Mars. Before we talk about life on Mars, let's explain why Mars is red. Mars has been called the red planet since time immemorial. The bright red disk hanging in the night sky during the years of the great controversies, when this planet is as close as possible to the Earth, has always evoked some kind of uneasy feeling in people. It is no coincidence that the Babylonians, and then the ancient Greeks and ancient Romans, associated the planet Mars with the god of war Ares, or Mars, and believed that the time of great controversies is associated with the most brutal wars. But why is Mars red? Where does this blood color come from? Oddly enough, the similarity in the color of the planet and blood is explained by the same reason: the abundance of iron oxide. Iron oxides stain blood hemoglobin. Ferric oxides combined with sand and dust cover the surface of Mars. Mars is red because its surface is covered with a thick layer of rust, which corrodes the dark, deep rocks. Here one can only be amazed at the insight of medieval alchemists, who made the astronomical sign of Mars a symbol of iron. In fact, rust, an oxide film on the surface of the planet, is a rare phenomenon in the solar system. It exists only on Earth and Mars. On the remaining planets and numerous large satellites of the planets, even those believed to have water, in the form of ice, deep rocks remain unchanged for almost billions of years. There was a lot of water on Mars. This is evidenced by photographs obtained by spacecraft of an extensive river network and grandiose river valleys, similar to the famous Colorado Canyon in the USA. The frozen seas and lakes of Mars are now likely covered in red sand. It seems that Mars went through the great ice ages together with the Earth. On Earth, the last great glaciation ended only 13,000 years ago. And now, we live in an era of global warming. Photographs of Mars show that many kilometers of permafrost are also thawing there. This is evidenced by giant landslides of melting red soil along the slopes of river valleys. Since the climate of Mars is much colder than that of Earth, it emerges from the era of the last glaciation, much later than us. Is there any evidence that this was the case? Americans discovered a meteorite in the ice of Antarctica, thrown by some terrible explosion from the surface of Mars. This stone preserved something similar to the remains of primitive bacteria. Their age is about 3 billion years. The ice shell of Antarctica began to form only 16 million years ago. But it is unknown how long a fragment of Martian rock was spinning in space before falling to Earth. Strong explosions on Mars, according to many experts, occurred not so long ago, 35 million years ago. NASA plans to send astronauts to Mars in the 2030s. The United Arab Emirates is pushing ahead with a 100-year plan to establish a colony there. China has said sending humans to Mars is its long-term goal. The most ambitious is billionaire Elon Musk. The founder of SpaceX wants to send people to the red planet this decade. In 2020, he was confident that a manned mission could take place in 2024, if lucky, and if unlucky, in 2026. But so far, by 2024, people will only reach the moon during NASA's Artemis mission. Research into the medical and psychological aspects of surviving on the moon could help develop technologies for long-distance missions to the red planet. Musk plans to build a full-fledged city of 1 million people on the surface of Mars by 2050 in order to turn humanity into a multi-planetary species. Relocation to Mars, in his opinion, could be a salvation if the life of Earth is threatened. Musk claimed in 2019 that a round-trip ticket could initially cost around $500,000 and eventually drop to $100,000. The billionaire's goal in 2016 was for the price of a ticket to be roughly equal to the average price of a home in the United States. A person will be able to sell his property in order to move to a neighboring planet. But first, Musk wants to create a base with everything necessary for life. Reusable spaceships with people and equipment will get to the red planet. People would live first on a starship and then on a base near a massive subsurface deposit of water ice. The fuel production plant will mine water ice and filter its impurities at a rate of 1 ton per day. Thin-film solar panels will be used to generate electricity. To deliver cargo and people, SpaceX is building the reusable Starship rocket system. Starship will be the most powerful launch vehicle ever built in the world. Mars is closer to Earth's conditions in temperature and sunlight than any other planet in the solar system. Therefore, it is considered the first contender for colonization. But to realize this, you need a lot of technologies that will create conditions for living and working. Transportation of people and materials. One of the first tasks that needs to be solved is delivering people and necessary materials, such as equipment, construction materials, and food, to Mars. It takes 6 to 8 months to get to the planet. Construction of residential premises. Scientists have several options for how to build housing on the red planet. 3D printing, the use of inflatable residential modules, strong buildings made of regolith. But first, let's find out how a human will survive on Mars. Organization of power supplies. Scientists propose solving this problem by growing food crops: lettuce, potatoes, other vegetables and grains. Another option is to create artificial meat. At first, people can rely on supplies brought from Earth, providing oxygen and water. NASA's proposed method for producing oxygen involves using electrolysis to break down carbon dioxide into oxygen and carbon. Water can also be extracted from ice. Ecosystem development. Scientists propose several approaches to create a Martian ecosystem. The use of controlled closed circulation systems with plants, animals, and microorganisms. The use of genetic engineering and biotechnology to create new organisms adapted to the conditions of Mars. Application of artificial intelligence for ecosystem management. Energy. Solar panels, nuclear reactors, and wind turbines can be used to provide energy supply. But the amount of sunlight on Mars is limited, and due to dust storms, there may be none at all. Installing nuclear reactors in such an environment is a technically challenging task, and the wind flow on the planet is not constant. That's all. Thanks for watching. See you soon.